a goal that I've put together for myself at the start of the year was to create at least one video every single day. Look at GC, look at Hormozy, look at Gary Vaynerchuk. They've got 10,000 posts.
If I kept the same pace for the next 10 years, I still wouldn't reach where they are now.
Got to play a bigger game. You got to put in the reps.
As soon as someone does the whole gender neutral toilets thing, you lose me.
If I was there with my children, we're like, no, we're not using those toilets.
I got picked up when I went to Bali. I got picked up by a driver, and I was like, how much are you paying rent? He's like, oh, there's just 2 rooms. So you all sleep in the same room? And he's like, yeah. There's not many people in Australia who would accept that.
Go out there and see the world and travel and actually have experiences that will give you some gratitude with where you're at in your life.
Like Australia needs a Trump.
Talking to an influencer.
You're right now, you are.
You are talking to an influencer.
Okay.
I float in different circles now, mate.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Can I get a photo?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without
a doubt. I'll give you, only because I've known you for so long.
I'll pay you.
Yeah. You're floating in different circles. So a goal that I've put together for myself at the start of the year was to create at least one video every single day.
I've seen that. I like it.
Yeah, every single day, because we were talking about it late last year. And we're sitting there and we're going, look at all these guys. You actually brought it up. Yeah, like look at GC, look at Hormozy, look at Gary Vaynerchuk. They've got 10,000 posts.
Yeah.
10,000 posts. And we're here doing 2, 3, 4 a week.
Yeah.
And going, we're crushing it.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, think about the thing. I haven't even hit 1,000 posts on my profile.
Yeah, me
all
either.
in total.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these guys are 10x where, if I kept the same pace for the next 10 years, I still wouldn't reach where they are now.
Yeah. That's right. That's
right.
And
I was like, doesn't make sense.
What's different? Like, what do we need to do? Like, what do you have to do? And it's like, you've got to play a bigger game. You got to put in the reps. Like, we're sitting there saying creating content at scale. And that was one of my goals last year, to create content at scale. And I would have given that a tick as achieving that goal from last year. From where I was in the previous year to what we did last year in 24, big tick. Podcast has been a huge contributor to that. Events have been a huge contributor to that. Me just doing general content being a contributor to that. So yes, I had a really good year last year. This year, I'm like, well, cool. What does it take to do 2, 3, 4, 5 videos a day, or posts, or content creation, or whatever it might be? And I went out with that goal to do that, and I was doing that, getting some great feedback. People are messaging me, hey man, love your daily videos, loving this, loving this, loving this. And then I put up one video in particular. So we often say that there's 2 ways of creating content, which is engaging, and that's either through entertainment or education.
Yeah.
Right? They're the 2 main forms of getting engagement and connecting with your audience. And the really good videos do both. So I put up a video. It was of me jet skiing. It had a Peter Griffin? Yeah, Peter Griffin sound in the background and whatnot. Anyway, I posted it. It was a funny little video. And
it's like 4 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes for like 4 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that. All right. And for those of you that haven't watched it, go and watch it. Get the algorithm going again.
Yeah,
it's pinned on the top of my page. Anyway, so I posted it. I'm like, oh. Well, it came back after an hour, looked at it, and it's like, 7,000 views. I said, oh, that's all right. There you go. That's done all right. I don't think I looked at it again for the rest of the day. Woke up the next morning, 128,000. Oh, shit. This one's doing all right. Woke up the next morning, 500,000. All right. And over the course of about 5 days, reached 1 million views. 1 million views. That's my first 1 million view video that I've ever created.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So I told my wife, I called my dad. It was a very proud moment. We had a party. It was great. And
celebrations.
I never would have got that video. I never would have got that 1 million view video had I not made it a goal at the start of the year to create more content. Never would have got it. It's the fact that I've committed to saying, okay, I'm going to do something every single day. And here's the funny thing, right? That was a silly video. All right? It wasn't wide. It didn't educate. It entertained. And I've got other content out there that if you watch it, it'll change your fucking life. But they get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 views. But this one got 1 million.
Yeah.
And sometimes, as I said, as we keep saying, like you've got to create 1,000 videos before you get the one that pops. And that resulted in lots of new followers, a whole range of things. Even one guy said, I randomly came across your jet ski video. That was hilarious. By the way, I'm in construction. Yeah, and he's like, and then we connected. I said, cool, man, I've got an event coming up. You should come to it. So, oh, yeah, that sounds great. So he's probably going to come to my next event. Maybe he becomes a paying client from that one silly video that I made. And that's not to say now, what about the next video I make tomorrow, today, the day after? Maybe that one is an educational one that gets 1 million views. Maybe I go out there and put a controversial topic out there. Something about, I don't like owner builders or in my industry. Or I could say something, what's current relations at the moment with something, I don't know. Gender neutral toilets. Okay. We spoke about that the other day at the Australian Open, which I think is a ridiculous thing. Maybe I could do a topic on that and then that'll pop. But the point is you've got to do the reps. You've got to go out there and actually put yourself out there to do the content. It does, you know what? It takes effort, but it's not as hard as you think. Because I'm not there focused on how good my hair looks, what time of day it is, what the audio looks, what the audio sounds like, what the visual looks like. I'm just getting the content out there. And will we do really good content from time to time, like this production here with the podcast? Yes, we will. Will I do other times where Iggy might follow me around for a day and I go, cool, let's do a video in the life of George for a day. And it's really good content? Yes, I'll do that too. But putting out the videos and the content like that, I think is going to be massive.
Okay, 2 things. 1, gender neutral toilets.
Let's talk about it. Let's deep dive. Let's get the $1 million view. Let's get 1 million views on this podcast.
Did you know that women tennis players get paid more than men do?
Do they really? I didn't know that.
That actually bothers me.
Does it really?
Yeah, I'll tell you why.
Well,
I'll tell you why.
This is a great topic.
It's a fantastic topic.
One that might get 1 million views.
Maybe. But I'll tell you why it bothers me.
Please.
Only because there is so much fuss the other way.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Other than that, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, don't care enough to... Dude, the way I found out about it was so indirect. And I was like, why is no one talking about this? When I found out about it like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
6 years ago, yeah. But it's so indirect.
Is it all across the world or is it just the Australian Open?
I think it's all across the world.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not 100%. I don't even care enough to have looked into it.
Yeah.
Just heard it, confirmed that it was right, and that's it. I never, ever looked into it again. Don't care that much.
Yep.
But it just bothers me because there is, I feel like, you know what I'm learning about myself? You know what the patriarchy is, right? Yeah?
Yep.
So the patriarchy, the whole thing around men and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Man, civilization, gotten us to where we are today.
Yep.
Whenever, and it's generally women, but not always, sometimes it's a man as well. Whenever they are anti-patriarchy, they lose me completely. I was reading a book once. I was, I don't know, maybe, 40, 50% of the way through the book. And she said, #fuck the patriarchy. And I closed the book on that page and put it back on the shelf. Because I just knew that anything they say from here.
You lost, yeah.
Yeah, you've just lost me. Because.
What was the book called? Name and shame.
Do you remember the name of the book?
Fucking oath.
It's something about relationships. I can't remember the exact name. It was a female writer. It's called something along the lines of something about being alone and how to not or something.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember the exact term.
That's all right.
She's a very that's not a lie. I saw her on a Diary of a CEO. That's where I found out about the book.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, as soon as I read that, dude, close the book and put it on the side. Because I'm like, you're brainwashed. The patriarchy, what? The one that allows you to have the beautiful life you have today? The one that's gotten the world to the point where we almost have world peace. By the way, did you hear Trump has stopped the war in the Middle East?
Did he? What a sick,
Dude.
What a sick man.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Anyway.
We should get him on the cast.
Call him. Yeah, as soon as someone says that, as soon as someone does the whole gender neutral toilets. Things that you lose me.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. It's not so much,
so.
as you said, it's not to the point where I'm like going to write a letter or sign a petition. Like I just don't care enough. But if I was there with my children, we're like, no, we're not using those toilets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
100%. I go, no, you're not using that toilet. You're going to use this
don't
one.
even, to be completely honest, I don't even care that women get paid more.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
tennis. Like, I don't care at all. But it's the fact that
It's made such
I've
a big
had
deal
my
about it.
head done in about the other way around, which has been proven to be false.
Correct.
It's just like, I almost feel like if I cared enough, I would do something about it, but I don't. But yeah, it does. It's like an annoying chair. Like, it's not that annoying that I'll stand up, but it's just, it's like, these things annoy me. You know what I mean? You remember every now and again.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's an annoying fact.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happens even in other sports. I think in this instance,
I think this might be the only sport that
I think in this instance, though, you're getting the crowds to the games as well. Do you know what I mean? So the revenue is there for women to be paid there.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
It's still a level of it's still entertaining to watch women's tennis.
Yeah.
It's not as quick, fast, strong, fast moving.
Let me
whatever it
ask
might
you a
be.
question.
Yeah.
If they ran both events separately, which one makes more money?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Okay.
That's a very good question. And
Of
it's
course.
likely that the males will
I would
do that.
bet anything on it. It's just
Yeah, you're completely right.
tune into the
women, the
Australian,
WNBA.
No. Thinking of a whole different idea. But tune into the
AFLW?
finals. Tune into tennis. Let's talk tennis.
Tennis.
Tune
no,
into the
tennis.
finals.
Yeah.
Compare the women's finals
Yeah.
and see, dude, even TV ratings, and then how many people watch the men's finals?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's a whole different
Yeah.
kettle of fish.
Yeah,
But
you're probably right.
yeah, but the women per minute get,
Yeah, of course, they play
per
less games.
game. They get paid.
Paid the same
higher.
for less games.
Yeah, paid the same for less games. So they're actually getting paid higher per game.
Correct.
Bizarre. But we, in our leftist world,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought this up. So do you feel it's going the other way? Because it has been very far left for a very long time. Okay.
I feel like we've overcorrected and that people.
I think it's starting to correct itself now. I really do. And I see it. And this is where I've seen it, particularly locally as well. So first of all, you're getting Trump coming into power and doing what he's doing.
Yep.
He was very clear with his message on a lot of these key areas, right? Gender neutral toilet. There won't be that at schools. He goes, I'm not going to let kids mutilate themselves, to transition to another sex. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do, like, he was very clear and very strong on some of these topics. This is what it is going to be like. That's it. And he got voted in for some of his very strong right views. And I'm seeing it here too. So you don't follow Australian politics much, do you?
Me? Not really, no.
So Peter Dutton, opposition leader
Yeah.
for the Liberal Party. And I don't follow it too much either. I've always been a Liberal voter because it suits my agenda, my business, my life. So I've always been a Liberal voter, and I probably will continue to. In saying that, if they're duds, like I would be a swing voter. It just depends on the person and the policies that the other party has. But in a two-party race, it's Liberal-Labor. What I have noticed is Peter Dutton taking a Trump approach to the next election. And if you see this, it'll be interesting for you to actually watch and see some of these. He came out the other day and he's like, when I present to the nation and when I am Prime Minister, I will not have an Aboriginal flag behind me. He goes, we are one country. We are the only country in the world that has two flags behind us. He goes, you go to any other country, you look at any other press conference, it's one flag, not two. He goes, I'm not saying we shouldn't be celebrating our heritage, where we're from, who we're about, the Aboriginal community. He goes, I'm not saying that at all. I am saying we need to be united as a nation, as a country, under one flag, which is why when I'm in power, it'll be one flag flying behind me when I'm talking to and addressing the nation or the world. That's it. I like that.
Is he Liberal.
He's liberal. So he's pushing the right agenda now. Australia Day. So there's all that talk around Australia Day and how it's Invasion Day and all this sort of shit. And he's like, no. He goes, this is the day that we are going to celebrate our country. This is the day that we are going to celebrate being Australian. All right, we're not going to make it Invasion Day. We're not going to make it about this and this and this and bring all the politics into it. He goes, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be that. He came out, he said other things too along the lines of the gender neutral stuff and all that sort of stuff too. He did. I can't remember that one. I didn't really see that clip. But I found it interesting because he's the first politician, not the first politician. There's another guy in Adelaide, Senator Attic or something like that. Alex Antic or something like that. And he's very right, like really right. He pulls people up on shit. And it's funny, he's got like 100,000 followers on Instagram. The one person he follows, Trump. So I thought that was pretty funny. But
he follows one person.
Follows one person. I actually messaged him to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
He hasn't responded. Might
Yet.
message him again.
Yet.
That's right. But what I'm finding is people, like I was looking at the comments. I was looking at the likes. Again, looking at the engagement, because that's probably what I was more interested in at the time. And he's got a lot of support. What he's saying makes a lot of sense, and a lot of people will back that. I promise you a lot of people are going to back that. And what you might find is the next election, it's going to swing his way. Just like it did with Trump, because he's going to take a more right-wing approach and go, this is what we're about. This is what we need to do. We need to go back to our fundamentals. We're not going to celebrate this. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Okay, these are stupid things. This is not what being Australian is about. And you watch the voters flock to him because of his mindset and what he's saying. Because that's what the politics lacks.
Yeah, look,
At
if
the moment.
we're going to talk about Australian politics, let's talk about a real serious topic. And it's, when are you going to run for Premier?
Good question.
Hold on, guys. Just one thing. What was your source about the gender pay gap on the tennis thing?
Oh, dude, I don't know. Like
No, it's not. It's
6
there.
years ago.
Yeah, because I checked it.
It's just one prize money for
The prize money is the same.
If you just Google prize money for Australian Open, it's
Yeah,
one
it is
prize
the
for both.
same.
Yeah, that's right.
But it became the same just recently, or was it?
Oh no, it's
just
been like
this
that for
year?
quite a while.
Quite a while.
This
Yeah.
come up in 2019 when I first.
That's only for Australian Open.
Is it
and
really?
Oh, okay.
And American, I think the American Open's like that too.
So the average percent is actually 20% higher for men's.
yeah, right.
So at the ATP and WTA tennis top 100 players, the gap is around even 33%.
Yeah,
No,
right.
but what's the
So-
prize money is exactly the
We're
same.
talking prize money, not
So
not
if
like
they win,
sponsorships
so if they
and
win,
stuff like that.
yeah. So if they win,
Yeah, so Australian Open 2025 is 3.5 million
Yeah,
as the winner.
each. Yeah.
Yeah, each.
but the women only have to play 3 sets.
I don't know. I don't
yeah,
watch
that's what it
tennis.
is.
I'm telling you. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I suggest that Australian Open is like that, but
Only Australian Open.
yeah,
I reckon there'd be more. I reckon
other
there'd be
American
Wimbledon
one.
yeah, maybe.
or the French Open.
There's 4.
Yeah, the US Open, French
Yeah.
Open, and Wimbledon.
It'd be surprised if they're not all the same.
I don't know.
It won't go back, but regardless, what I'm seeing with those. Oh, sorry, you said when am I running for Premier? Well, I'm glad you brought that up, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to announce it here today on the podcast that I will be running for Premier. No. If I was to run for Premier, I would definitely be more right-winged for sure with a lot of the stuff, and I'd be very much like this. It's this way or fuck off, or don't vote for me. I don't care. That's just how I am. It's not about being right-wing. I'm just logical.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I'm just logical. Kill me with logic in anything. If you could show me that, doing something left was the way to do it, and it's the best thing for people, for myself, for my family, for whatever it is, well, yeah, let's do it. That's no issues with that. That's why I say I'm a swing voter. I would vote for Labor, and generally never have, purely because of the policies always suit my business for Liberal and my lifestyle. So I'll always vote for them. But yeah, I found it interesting that that he has started to do and implement that, and I reckon they did that strategically.
So you reckon he only did it post-election?
No, he's just coming into the election now.
No, post-American election.
Well, that's the only time I've seen it. That's the only time I've seen it now, just recently, him actually, like a genuine person going for Prime Minister.
Well,
this isn't a Premier. This is top dog.
We've also always said and here's the thing, when I when I think something, I always think I can't be the only person thinking this.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's got to be someone else who's perceived the same information in the same way. So, and we've spoken about this and we said Australia needs Trump.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know what I mean? And it's like Australia needs a Trump. And that's how the whole conversation came about you running for premier.
Yeah.
And then it's like, which is going to happen, by the way. It's one of my goals for 2025. It's one of my,
To get me to
to
run.
get George to run.
Guys, put in the comments if you would vote.
Yes,
Put in the
please.
comments. And I promise you, when I'm premier, we will still do this podcast weekly.
That'd be sick.
I'll put policies in place that will make everyone $1 million days.
So you're going to subscribe.
But you have to be subscribed. Otherwise, we'll tax you more.
Gonna get a tax benefit for subscribing to the podcast.
Your tax benefits, that's it.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah, because we said, Australia needs a Trump post. I can't remember if it was post or around the election time or
probably
whatever it was. But it was like, yeah, cool. Like that would be good here because everyone here is too
PC.
Rule, yes, PC. Well, I was going to say rule following.
There was this girl, I can't remember, she said it best, and I think it was on a TV show or a radio show. She was on there and she was talking and she goes, what I've realized is, it goes, we've got a poor standard of politicians in this country. And she goes, what I've realized and what I've seen, particularly after COVID, is we are people that are we are sheep. We want to be told what to do and how to do it.
Australia. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And she goes, this is what I've noticed. And he goes, the reason we keep getting shit politicians is because we keep wanting to be governed. We need to remind politicians that they work for us, not us for them. And that's where, and she made a ripper point, and I think it was quite a viral video.
I think
along that line.
Yeah,
it was
I
great.
think that is, she's bang on.
Oh, she was bang on.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with what the words that were coming out of her mouth. And she's like, we're sitting here and you're bitching and moaning about this, and this. And she goes, but you're the ones that voted these people into power. And now you're making it out as in, we work for them. They need to be reminded that they work for us. They're here to serve the community, the country, not the other way around. And they've lost their way. And that's why we just love to be governed. We want to be safe. We want to be told what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And I couldn't agree more with what she said. I personally don't, and I'm sure there's lots of people that don't as well. However, man, COVID showed that a lot of people also do, because they voted that.
A lot of people
they
also
voted
do.
that fuckless in more than once.
In
And
saying that,
for those of you that don't know who I'm referring to, it is Daniel Andrews. You are a fuckwit of the highest accord.
yeah.
Put it on record once again.
In saying that, Australia's a sick country.
Love it.
Dude,
They're good.
so good.
They're good time.
So, every time I go overseas, I get reminded. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, we've got it good.
Man, how cool would it be when we go to the States to have a look at that and compare?
I can't wait,
I've
yeah.
heard like LAX. I was not LAX. LA's a fucking disaster at the moment, obviously with all the fires and everything that's happening there. But but before that, like the
Homelessness and-
homelessness, the economic, like it'd be interesting to talk, because we're going to speak to people. It'd be interesting to talk to them and say, well, like, hey, what's life like here? How are you guys traveling? Is it hard? Are you killing it, or are
Yeah,
you like
that's
going
so-
shit?
there's-
Petrol's this much a gallon.
There's two
milk
sides
is
to
this
it, though,
much.
right? Even if you look at Europe as well.
Yeah,
Like, I think Australia's bottom line is quite high.
yeah. Comparatively,
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
in
absolutely.
the sense of,
absolutely.
if you look at, so let's just say, if you were to break it up into tiers, right? And like the lowest tier in Australia, like even if you are
Minimum wage, everything.
wage, you still have food, you still have
A house,
clean water,
yeah.
you still have a roof over your
Still
head.
safe.
Yeah, you're still safe. Like,
Yeah,
whereas I think it's hard over there. Like, dude, people in Europe, like I saw some shit in Europe when I went, man, and
absolutely.
I was like, I didn't know that Europe was like that. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, man, like Italy, places in Italy. Like, I went to Naples, and there's people living in ways. Dude, I spoke to. This is getting us sideways. I got picked up when I went to Bali. I got picked up by a driver, and I was talking to him. Didn't know him, but someone I know knows him, and just talking to him. Yeah, how you doing? Blah blah blah. Thanks for sorting this out. And I was like, how much do you pay in rent? Just curious, because I've had people always say to me, like, man, like, what you do is mobile. Why don't you go live in Bali? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to. I've never been there before when they used to say it to me. So I've never been there. I don't know. Maybe if I like it, I'll consider it. I would never do it.
Got a
Just
podcast there.
Yeah.
Just come back weekly.
Yeah. I just wouldn't. That would not be the.
Not much the same.
I'm not going to live in it's a third world country.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm talking to him and I said, dude, curious, what's your rent like? Like, how much are you paying rent? Do you mind if I ask? And he's like, yeah, he lives in Denpasar, which is like the main part of Bali, like a big city or like kind of where the airport stuff is near there. And I was like, how much are you paying rent? And he's like, 1.7 million, which is $170 Australian.
Week, rent,
Month.
a month. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck, that's not bad.
But how much are they making?
Let me finish the story. I didn't even ask him how much he's making.
Yeah.
But for context, the thing from the thing to the airport was a 3-hour drive, and it cost me $50 for 500,000. So he made 30% of his rent just from my trip. And I was like, okay. I said, do you mind if I ask, like, how do you live? Like, what's it? Because guy's married, 3 kids, oldest son is 18 years old. And I was like, do you mind if I ask how do you live? Like, is it a house? Is it an apartment? He's like, oh, no, it's a small house. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, 1 bedroom, like, how does it work? He's like, oh, there's just 2 rooms. And I was like, what do you mean? And then he's like, yeah, 1 room we sleep and the other room, everything else.
We do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone sleeps
And I
in the
was
same
like,
room.
so you all sleep in the same room? And he's like, yeah. And I just looked at him and I thought, there's not many people in Australia who would accept that.
Yeah. An 18-year-old kid.
Dude, 3 kids? How did you have the second 2 kids? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, at what? I just couldn't fathom it. I was like, man, like, it's like we take this shit so for granted, man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Get upset when each bedroom doesn't have an ensuite.
yeah. You're like, you know what I mean? And it's like, and then these people like all sharing a room. And it's not, dude, it's not just Bali or just this person. It's lots of countries around the world.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
That's what I'm saying.
There's certain
You've got to
places-
go out there and see the world and travel and actually have experiences that will give you some gratitude with where you're at in your life, but also go, okay, need to make some moves, make sure that we're never in a position like this as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the greatest things about Australia. It's a bit of a safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But as I said, people get sucked into that too,
Yeah. People get sucked in and they just accept.
But they even go from the other avenue of it. Like, look at the Dole, all right? Literally opposite our office. You've got commission homes, uninterrupted bay views in Albert Park. You know what I mean? People that have been given homes. And yes, I completely understand there's a lot of people in there that probably do need the assistance. All right, and that's great.
I think you're always going to have that though.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
I think
but
that's
there's
better
also, I guarantee you, in that building, there's also a lot of people rorting the system. All right, I had my brother-in-law, my
100%.
sister-in-law's brother-in-law has a cafe, and he had a worker in there. My sister-in-law's brother-in-law.
Yeah, okay.
Right, he has a cafe in Port Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I just worked out who you're talking about.
Yeah. He had a chef working for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't work there now, but he had a chef there working for him. Listen, interesting.
I was about to mention the cafe. Like,
Had a chef working for him, not there anymore. But he goes, they're busy. He goes to the guy. He goes, listen, I need you. He was a really good chef, like really good at his job. Yeah. He goes, listen, I want you to come work for me. Like, come and work full time, because he only wanted to work 2-3 days a week. He's like, no, come and work full time. I'll give you this much money. Blah blah blah. Like, I can give you what you want. Like, good wicket. Okay. Do you know what his answer was? He goes, and he goes, he goes to him, he goes, you need to pay me cash. So the 2-3 days that he was working, he goes, you got to pay me cash. All right. And he's like, look, I can pay you a bit of cash here and there. He goes, but I can't sustain that. As the business grows, I'm going to have to put you on the books. So that's probably why he stopped working. But do you know the reason why he wanted A, cash, and B, not to work more?
he's on the dole.
Because he's on the dole. He goes, I don't want to lose my benefits. Your benefits? He's living at home with his mum, and he was probably in his mid to late 40s. He goes, I don't want to lose my money. I can't be shown to be getting an income.
And he was skillful.
He was very good, apparently. Like, he made some good food.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
He goes, I don't want to lose my
That's just a closed mindset, dude.
Oh, dude, I just wanted to slap this guy.
Yeah. That's just like a...
You don't want to make 100 grand a year because you're going to lose your $25,000 benefit from the government every year.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. And there would be, I believe...
That
people.
guy's a leech on society. That guy
The
is a leech.
society is going to have leeches.
Yeah. But, you know, it rewards it, though. This is what we're saying. Like, the way our society is set up, it does reward people like that. Okay? And sometimes punishes the hard-working people. But...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you.
Really? Yeah, well, look,
I get what you're saying. It rewards them. It doesn't reward them. It creates a better space. Would it be better if we walked down the street and there was 100 homeless people pulled up in tents? Have you seen some of the tents and shit set up in the US? Like, have you seen the homeless people set up tents?
I think it's like a whole community of tents.
It's horrible. Yeah, it's like you walk down the street and there's all tents pulled up, and it's like
I've heard somewhere else, like someone was saying it. You literally walked out our building and it just smelled like piss and shit because people were just
just a bunch of homeless people
because they were just going at it on the street, on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I would prefer to have, and for the record, Australia, yes, we do have a high tax, but we don't have the highest tax in the world. Have you seen like the tax in Sweden and Germany? Like they've got a higher tax rate in general. We're still top 10.
Yeah.
But there's some countries that are topping us slightly, and countries that also have, like Germany would be a great country to live in. You know what I mean? I know you've lived in Germany, Iggy, but Sweden would be another great country to live in. But I feel like we are a combination of like a little bit of that in Australia and like a little bit of US and like a little bit of UK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like we've got some factors, and there's some things that we do that aren't great, like the followingness, sheepness, whatever you want to call it, the need to be governed.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, great.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still think there's a lot of, but I don't want to rest on that. Do you know what I mean? In the sense that no, but even as a society, we shouldn't be like, oh yeah, but what a great country we live in. It can get fucking better, but you got to want that change. You got to put the pressure on these politicians and all these guys to say, no, hang on, mate, this, and this, right? Because at the moment, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. They are dictating to us how everything is going to be.
Yeah, so you only put the pressure on them by playing that game.
Which most people don't. They can't be bothered. I can't make a change. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I don't think it's going to, in all honesty. I really don't.
What's the change you'd like to see?
I
have no issue with the whole commission homes.
Oh no, I'm not picking on them.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying a whole range of things. I think there's a lot. Like there's this guy on. He got decent following on.
I think we do that well. The commission homes thing.
And I think the punters. Have you heard of him? The punters politics. Yeah, whatever it is.
You've told me. I'm
gonna. Hey, if you're listening, bro.
Some good content.
What's his name? Do you know?
I don't remember.
He's got great content.
Punters politics.
Punters politics or something like that. We'll give him a shout out to another podcast right now. But he does these short form videos on there, and he will talk about the mining companies. He'll talk about the gas companies and how Australia is selling it to them for nothing. They're giving it away. They make billions and billions of dollars profit a year, and they pay 0.0002% tax. You know, shit like that. I'd say there's a lot of refinement that needs to happen, I think, in our country to make it great, to have all these money, to get money that can be invested here. There's just idiots that are sellouts, I believe, from what I've seen and what I've read and what I've heard. There's a lot of people that are pocketing personally and profiting personally as opposed to doing what's best for the country in that political space. So I think there's a level of that needs to be cleaned up.
I think there is a level of corruption wherever you go.
Yeah, I agree.
Have
but
you guys read
it'll be
the
less in
book
some places
called
than others.
Stolen Focus?
No.
It's actually a quite good book. So on Stolen Focus, the author writes about why we can't keep like politicians accountable is because we have a way too short of an attention span because of social media and everything. So to create like any change to get them like accountable, people have to have long attention spans to see and focus on things that are not working and take action to it. But nowadays it's so bad, it's just not working anymore. If you compare who's the president, Lincoln, American president, that was like Lincoln, yeah. So his speech was 3 hours long and people could watch that. That was before TV. And the competitor, whoever it was, he also had a 3-hour speech and people could watch that. But after the TV generation, it dropped to 1 hour. So the whole like debate went for 1 hour. Nowadays, it's like seconds.
Yeah.
People are losing their attention spans, and they can't even give the politicians to be accountable.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
I don't know if I completely buy into the whole short attention span thing.
You'll watch if you're interested.
Yeah, people binge Game of Thrones for 8 hours.
But that's entertainment.
Yeah, so what?
Politics is not entertainment.
Yeah, but so do you think they had the same measuring capabilities when President Lincoln was around that they do now? Like, it's like when people say like, oh, people are more autistic now than ever. And it's like, you get that we got better at working it out too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's probably people that never got diagnosed.
I think there's people today that don't get diagnosed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think there's people walking around right now living life and they're on some level on the spectrum that aren't diagnosed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think this should, like, if someone's got such a short attention span. Dude, I watched a 4-hour video on sales the other day because I was trying to put together a sales strategy. And I sometimes can't watch a 30-second reel. So is it a short attention span or is it shit's boring?
Did you watch my jet ski reel?
Not the whole thing.
It's 4 seconds.
Not the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like, that's why it could be true, but I just don't buy into it as much as everyone seems to. Like, we try and demonize screens and social media.
Oh, without a doubt. I couldn't agree more. We do demonize that
We
a lot.
demonize the hell out of it, dude.
Yeah.
I was watching the Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan's podcast. He just came on. So
just recently.
Did you see
I
the
didn't
whole
see
thing?
it. No, I haven't seen it at all.
But did you see the announcement he made on Instagram?
Yes.
About how they're not soliciting content. Not, I don't know what the term is anymore, but they're not blocking out content anymore. They're not filtering out as much content. So they're allowing things that would normally get banned are now going to get through. They're turning more into like X.
yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, have you noticed people start calling it X now and Twitter's starting to fall off?
Yeah, yeah. I did that yesterday, funny enough.
Called
the first time. No, I called it X.
Yeah. And so he was talking about that. And then Joe Rogan was talking to him about, do you do anything with your kids and screen time and that? And he's like, I don't want my kids to live on the iPad. He's like, I think that's just bad habits. You know what I mean? He's like, but he goes, if my daughter's, and he talks about one of his daughters. He's like, my youngest daughter's very creative. He goes, she does like Legos and that. He goes, and she also plays Minecraft. He goes, Minecraft is a great visualization, creative. I don't even know what Minecraft is, by the way.
It's a game.
It sounds sick.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's a great visualization, creative game. He goes, now, if I want to enhance my daughter's creativity skills, he goes, she's going to learn more from Minecraft than she is from building Legos. He goes, so when she wants to play Minecraft, I don't stop her. He goes, when she was waking up early to start playing Minecraft and not sleeping properly, I stopped her and said, hey, no iPad before X. He goes, but do I say, hey, don't play the iPad, go play with the Legos? No. He goes, if she wants to play Minecraft for 3 hours.
Yep. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a really logical explanation. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. I don't like how we demonize everything that we're doing as humans. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got people off the streets. There's people living in houses. It's like, oh no, they're taking our tax money. People can't watch stuff. Social media is ruining everyone. We got more autistic people. Oh, it's the fucking vaccines. Do you know what I mean? Like everything, dude.
Yeah.
We're always so quick
Very quick.
to like try and no. It's we're doing this wrong. We're doing that wrong. And it's like, dude, like we're fucking. Life has only gotten better continuously. It's not like we lived better 50 years ago. We didn't. We live better today than we've ever lived in our whole fucking however long you think humans have been alive for.
It's actually a little bit degrading at the moment in 2024 and 2025.
Why?
Because there's more wars compared to 10 years ago. Because 10 years
Yeah, but
ago,
so you're thinking you have short-term attention span. You're thinking
Don't you remember? Trump
you're
stumped all the
thinking
wars.
in a short span, dude. You're thinking in a short-term span. You know what else happened?
no, it's not just the Middle East. There's a lot of wars that we don't even care about in our media.
Yeah.
There's a whole video about like how many wars happened compared to 10 years ago that's happening today. And
Okay, but what about comparing wars are fought not in months or years. They're fought over like it's a big decade thing.
Yes.
So why don't you look at it over a longer time horizon?
Yeah. That's the whole video essay about. If you watch it, you'll understand. There is more wars. There's civil wars and wars between countries.
So do you think the world is in a worse place now than it was 10 years ago?
Compared to on death tolls on wars, yes, it is a little bit. Financial crisis wise, I wouldn't know because I've never checked it out.
But just overall.
Yeah, it's kind of better, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think we continually make advancements. So you can see anything as bad within if you pick a certain time horizon. Do you know what I mean? If you look at the stock market in a certain window, you can see a cliff fall off and say, we're fucked. Or you can look at Bitcoin for the last 3 months and say, crypto is going to take over the world. You know what I mean? Or you can zoom out a little bit and say, okay, cool, let's look at this over a bigger time horizon. You know, everything runs in cycles. Is this happening now for a particular reason because of what was happening 10 years ago? Is this happening now? If we look at it in a 25-year time span or a 100-year time span, are we still worse? I would doubt it. I don't know because I don't know the numbers that you're talking about. But I would just say it's highly unlikely that more people are dying now from those things than they were. And here's another thing. There's more people on the planet. Like, we have bigger armies. We have, you know what I mean? Factor that in and talk percentages. More percentages die. Like, you know what I mean? You can...
There's a lot of factors that come in.
You can manipulate data to make anything look
Yeah, true.
good or bad. You very much like heavily. You know what I mean? And I just think we're so hardwired to focus on the fuck shit.
Yeah, well, people are inherently negative people.
Yeah, it's survival behavior.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. It's to protect themselves. For sure.
I actually have an interesting topic for you guys. So testosterone levels have been dropping in the last 40, 50 years. Are we less of a man now compared to our previous generation?
Me or the average man?
Good rebuttal. Well, I mean, if it's dropping, what are the reasons?
When you say less of a man,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah, like lower testosterone levels.
I did hear a podcast on this in part, not in full. So I don't have enough understanding on the topic, but it is definitely a topic you can talk about. I'm sure there's factors.
I reckon yes.
Might that be also a cause of all the gender problems, whatever it is?
I reckon yes.
Potentially.
I reckon yes, we are less.
But why is so? What?
I reckon yes, we
probably
are less.
a level of comfort though. Like
Hey?
it probably comes from that. It could be.
Dude, hey, look at fucking go take a bunch of what was the take a bunch of baby boomers in their prime and put them in war against a bunch of Gen Zs. Who's winning? Same.
Yeah, but it's also which Gen Zs.
Hey,
How do you?
The Gen Zs that
The average
stereotypical
Gen
one.
Z.
Yeah, the stereotypical one.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who's going to win? Take them both, same amount of people, take all the attributes and make them standard. Like, you know what I mean? So 100 people here, 100 people there, all the same age, same height, same strengths, whatever. Who's going to win? They grew up in a harder environment, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are
They have to be.
tougher by default,
Default,
due
that's
to
right.
natural adversity,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
So yes, do I think that men are becoming less manly? But there's also the whole war on masculinity.
Yes.
Yeah, and toxic masculinity.
No, that's
and-
only. Do you feel that? I don't feel that's been going for that long. Do you feel it's really been going for that long?
dude. The whole feminist movement's been happening since like the 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I get that, but it hasn't.
Me Too was the early 2000s.
When I was in high school, there was never this
You
conversation.
just but you just weren't aware of it.
No, it wasn't happening, man. But
So you
like
don't
it is
reckon in the
today.
2000s that was happening? That was happening, dude.
I'm sure it was happening, but not to the extent where it is now. Like I never, ever once in my life,
Yeah, because it's-
ever heard of someone like we had the acceptance of gender neutral toilets, like we said before. There was never a conversation about that ever.
That's just it's gotten more
Correct.
and more and more.
That's what I mean. That's what I don't think. I think it's just become extreme in the last few years. Like when I say last few years, 5. You know, I don't think it's been as prominent in society or in life or anything like that.
Nothing, dude.
And then also social
plant
media
doesn't
probably
grow
has
overnight.
that has had that effect on it because now it's so much easier to communicate something, an opinion, which then gets like got a video that had 1 million views. I go out there and say, "Hey everyone, it's okay to be a boy if you're a girl," and then if you're the first person to say that,
do it.
but if you're the first person to say that, do you know what I mean? You're going to go viral. Oh, this person said this, and this person said this, and then they get on TV shows, and then they get on this, and then they do this. It blows out, and then it probably seems bigger than what it is. Vast majority of people still think the way we think. But yeah, you're probably right. It's the natural adversity that they had to deal with, which will make them even. Let's assume they're physically the same strength. Okay,
That's what I'm
Let's
saying.
make that. Make sure that physical attributes are exactly the same. The mental attributes of the baby boomers, I think will definitely surpass that of the Gen Z or Y or whatever the hell they are.
Yeah. Taking into account, like if you try and evened out the playing field as much as possible,
Yeah.
you'd think,
Yeah, if you're a betting man,
would be paying like $1.40.
I'd be paying $1 million.
The Gen Z.
Playing small. Oh, the Gen Z. Okay, yeah. That's it.
Interesting.
It is. But do you know what each of those groups would be doing?
What?
So the Gen Zs, so the baby boomers and the Gen Zs, before they actually went to war,
What would they do?
they'd subscribe. They'd stop what they're doing. Hey, guys, before we get out of hand and, potentially kill ourselves, we need to make sure that we're subscribed to this podcast. And you guys can do the same. You can do the same. Before you go to war today, whether it's with a baby boomer or whether it's just your war at work, in business, in life, whatever it is, subscribe to this channel because it's going to help you in your journey to achieve greatness and to achieve all the things that you want to do. And it helps us grow the channel and helps us bring new people, more people, and create more positive change in this world.
And vote 1 for George.
Premier 2025 or whenever that next election is. I don't even know who the Premier is. It's some
George.
lady at the moment. I don't know her name. I'll probably know her name if you said it, but
Julia Gillard.
that's the one. Is it the only politician female politician you know?
And what's the racist lady's name?
Oh, Pauline Hanson.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Good on her.
Is she racist?
I think-
I've never even looked into
Don't
it.
know. Don't know.
She appears through the media to be
That
not
could
a
be the
nice
perception,
person.
yeah.
Could be the perception, yeah. That's what I learned.
But she was on some reality TV show a few years back. I think it was like, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, something like that. I remember seeing it. I remember watching it, and she was actually quite a nice person. I think like when you got to see what she was like, and then it's not until you see the perception of her going through. But she's
the
also
media
a person,
machine. The
but she's
media
also a
machines are
person that
dangerous.
has a very strong view on certain topics.
Yeah.
So then when you come out, they're like everyone, like you said with Trump, everyone demonizes him for something that he says, but then that 30-second clip is what gets played, but it gets taken out of context.
So you like her?
I don't dislike her. I think she has said things in the past that aren't great.
So is Trump.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think overall, like, good on her for having a crack and sticking to her guns and what she believes. I think she's getting out of politics, actually.
Is she?
I think so. I think she's retiring. But yeah, she's very
Vocal.
yeah, but she's very patriotic too. She's very all about Australia and Australians. But I do think she said stuff against ethnic people and immigrants in the past as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she has. And
Yeah.
she's talked about, Chinese and Indians.
Yeah.
What's it called when people come here? Immigration.
Yeah, immigration.
Yeah.
That's why I think she's got a strong point. Iggy would definitely not have got in. Me and you wouldn't have. None of us. We'd all be fucked.
Yeah.
If she was in power, this would be $1 million days, Lebanon.
And that's why.
Hey, can we do Iggy? Can we do an episode in
French?
Can we do an episode in Mongolia? We come to Mongolia and we'll do an episode.
Yeah, you can.
Days.
The mic's full.
Huh?
You have to weatherproof the mics.
Do they have mics in Mongolia? Do you reckon you can organise some for us? We'll ship them over to you. We'll do $1 million days Mongolia. When are you leaving, Iggy? May. So still got a little bit of time.
If you don't want anything bad to happen to the country, make sure you vote one for George Passis,
Or to
Premier
Iggy.
of Victoria.
If you don't want anything bad to happen to Iggy,
Future
vote one
Premier.
because I will keep him here.
He will keep.
I'll keep him here. Make sure he's creating sick content for us for a really long time. And for you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it as always. Tune in next week where we're going to talk about some pretty amazing stuff.
We are.
Boom.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.